everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Let Go Movement podcast. Today, we're going to dive into a topic that not only is transformational for your emotional well being, but also your physical health, your mental health, all the health, the spiritual health, everything. If you've ever felt like you've tried everything but can't seem to shake off the lingering pain or the discomfort, or you have chronic issues, or you don't really understand why something keeps happening, you have emotional weight, physical weight, this lingering knowing that something deeper is there, or you're looking for an alternative way to approach self development, this episode is for you. And I am so excited to have this conversation today. I bring you this conversation because it's always a way and a moment for me to remind myself and deepen my awareness. And also for many people in all areas of life, I realize that this knowing, this knowledge, this tool isn't in everyone's awareness. It isn't, common knowledge, if you will. It's not widely as known as I would really, 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 really like it to be. And so here's an opportunity to share it with all of you. So we tend to believe, have been taught, possibly, programmed for convenience sake, that the body is separate from the mind. But in reality, they are interconnected, deeply interconnected. And, the sciences and the doctors are, they know this and they're catching up most of the time. And, in some industries, in science and health, it's more known than others. In others industries, it's a little bit more like, no, 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 it's fine. It's fine. Like it doesn't exist. Don't worry about it. But our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, our judgments, our beliefs, our past experiences, they influence our physical and emotional state. They influence our mental health. They are huge contributors. There is a famous quote: if you don't deal with your emotions will deal with you. And when you don't resolve feelings, when they get trapped, when the emotions are not processed, your subconscious will store them in the body. And that leads to that physically manifests as pain, illnesses, behavior issues, limiting thoughts and beliefs, chronic issues, autoimmune diseases. And there's so much, um, dare I say, evidence out there to share with you the power of this work and how it can drastically shift anything from pain in someone's low back to receiving more clients to um, even resolving chronic and autoimmune diseases that people would once label as completely incurable. It's been done. There's no shortage of experiences out there where this work can be dynamically life changing. So, when we talk about emotions, I want to remind you that emotions are names based on frequency signatures they have, which simply is energy. And you can listen to an episode I did about energy and energy healing. So, for this episode and purpose, I'm going to use the word emotions. And I'm going to encourage you also, when you hear that word, to also remind yourself it's energy and frequency. I like to do this to practice non judgment and just to have kind of a neutral blanket on what energies are showing up. I find this very helpful in shifting through things when we remove any residue of maybe like shame and guilt or negativity on emotion. When we just see it for as an energy expression, I find it a lot easier to shift through things. Now, I do hold some perspectives, some thoughts, some opinions about how also we've been taught to see, use, react, align, agree, or disagree with emotions. For today, though, identifying them in a way I'm going to chat about today and using them as indicators in a way of processing and communicating with the body is so powerful. So, the tool I use with my clients, the tool I've used on myself for so many years is called Emotion Code, which was brought to the world by Dr. Bradley Nelson and influenced a lot by Chinese medicine and the governing meridian lines and the corresponding emotions that the body produces along that meridian line. So, this is a very gentle process. It's very quick. It is super fast and it's a powerful tool to unlock trapped emotions that have been stored in the body's energy fields, physically in the body itself, which again, all energy. gentle, fast, like I said, and it can be applied to both humans and animals for that fact, which is really amazing. It's not a substitute for like training your animal. I do have to say that. But if there are some issues going on with the animal, trapped emotions can be part of it. If there's behavioral things, trapped emotions can be part of it. They can absorb a lot of emotions from us as their owners. They're so compassionate and so empathetic that they can, take some stuff on. This technique can be applied to every single area and aspect of our lives, seen and unseen. And that's one of the things that I love about it. It's all my tools can be applied to every single area of our life, physical or non physical. This is a very gentle kind of in for a lot of people into the world of energetics. And that's why I use it so much. So emotions like anger, sadness, grief, joy, vulnerability, worriness, these are all perfect emotions to be having. But when we don't process them, when we don't acknowledge them, when we, in some cases, and this is I'll create a whole episode on just this, but misuse or misapply emotions when we suppress them, ignore them, stuff them down for later, don't have the tools to handle them. They're a shock to our system. They're super intense. They can become stuck in our energy fields because they're not being processed fully. Over time, these unprocessed emotions settle into the body and they create blockages. I talk about this in the episode about energy and energy healing. The flow of energy does not become fluid. It's like rocks in a river. If you pile up too many rocks, you're going to create this imbalance. You're going to create this block in current. I like to think of it also as we have so many experiences in our life. There's so many things happening, there's so many moments and interactions. Our subconscious stores everything. Every thought, every feeling, every emotion, every judgment, every point of view, etc. And it will also bring in anything it determines as necessary and subfile those things around the events in our life. These are like little subfolders that can create like a clogged hard drive, if you will. So, as we grow up, if these emotions don't get processed, our beliefs don't get updated with where we are currently in life, they can essentially wreak havoc on the system, slowing things down, creating issues. Our physical lives, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, can all be affected. When we use the emotion code or a similar process like EFT, we're able to really simply, fast, and gently release these trapped emotions completely from your system, giving you a more balanced, harmonized frequency of your whole body, which that at the end of the day is so important because our bodies want to be at this optimal state. And as we remove essentially the rocks from the river and we let the stream just flow nice and beautifully, and have the rocks where we want the rocks, in a way, uh, we can live really aligned lives. So, one thing I love about this work also is you don't ever have to go into the details of the topic. And this is why it's such a gentle in for a lot of my clients, because sometimes things are fresh. Or sometimes there's still a huge energetic charge on a conversation or an event or something that happened in their life, and they don't want to talk about it. It's one thing I love about access bars is it's kind of the same thing in a different way, removing those thoughts, feelings, emotions, and judgments. But in emotion code, we're dealing with specific emotions that were experienced, stored, and kind of like saved for later, if you will, right? A lot of the clients that I work with, there's moments in their life which are really tough. And this way of working, you don't have to know the details. At the most, in my client's experience, we've had to go to like if it's a shared or an absorbed emotion between a friend or a family member. I usually just grab the emotion. Typically, I need like an age when this emotion got trapped. And that's enough for the client to, a lot of times, remember what happened and be like, okay, yeah. Sometimes we have our childhoods a little bit more blocked, so we don't really remember a lot of things. Or this is happening when we're like literally a fetus and we're absorbing emotions that were felt around us. So we don't really know what was going on, but we can clear them nonetheless because the subconscious lets us clear them. And we can get so super, super specific to a topic or very general just in health. So, some really common symptom that indicate trapped emotions, pretty much everything, but is chronic pain is often so much linked to trapped emotions. A lot of back pain, migraines. When we've got trapped emotions, we've got emotional baggage we have not dealt with. It likes to manifest in these ways. Digestive issue, stress, unresolved emotions often lead to a manifestation of some sort of dis-ease in the gut, tightness in the chest or the throat, feeling anxious, sadness. We're not speaking our truth. We're stuffing things down. Fatigue. This is one that people really just kind of often just chalk up to I'm not sleeping enough. But when we carry around unprocessed emotions, it's an energetic weight. Um, and it's mentally and physically literally wearing you down. And that takes energy to keep going like that. So a lot of people will feel clearer or less fatigued after they've kind of gone through the processing stage. Now, I probably should have said this at the beginning of the episode, but please don't take this as medical advice. I'm not a medical doctor. Although if you're doing this work, you could see some pretty phenomenal things happen that your doctor might be like, I don't know how that happened. And you can be like, I do. And, join the forces on the holistic side. I do encourage you to see a holistic doctor, like a homeopath or a naturopath, especially when doing with things that aren't needing surgery and whatnot. There's a time and a place for Western medicine, and there's a time and a place where, we need to address things right away, but I'm always going to encourage you to go deeper. It can be uncomfortable. I get it. I acknowledge it. It's not always, it's not the glamorous route. It's not the quick fix. Even though motion code healing is a fast process and can deliver some amazing quick results, it is peeling back the layers. It is looking at areas of your life that you want to clear around and beginning that process. One person can just say, give me a pill or do this, procedure to me and just patch me up and send me out into the world. And I don't actually ever have to change my life. I don't ever actually have to change my point of view. I can sit here with my past and I can hold that energetic charge and I will be victim to whatever that brings me in the future. But here's an invitation. Here's a tool. Here's a practice. And there's people out there that truly want you to help you. And I mean, that's why I'm here on this planet is to really clear out the shit from people's vibrations so we can really start to live in alignment, in harmony with ourselves and not be falling whim to what this reality has said, falling whim to people who say, you can't change anything, you can't heal anything. I believe you can. And this is a tool to do that, to bring into your life. So here's the invitation if you're willing to step into it. People like Dr. Bradley, the creator of Motion Code, and Dr. Michael, a naturopathic medicine doctor with a background in bio and quantum nuclear physics. Wow. And the creator of the energy enhancement system, they even say that frequency and releasing incongruent energies is the future of medicine and global healing. And I truly, 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 truly believe that. Like, I'm grateful for, medical advancements and all of that. But if they continue to only just kind of cover things up and create a sick cycle, um, I'm always going to be a little wary. So I love when things come full circle, help you deal with your shit, remove the incongruencies, and really heal you from the inside out and from the root cause. It's so dynamic and it requires courage. So I just want to I know it can be tough, but there's so many documents out there that from common allergies to cancer, things have been cleared up. And trapped emotions, motion code healing is all part of that. EFT is all part of that. Frequency systems and devices are all part of that. But let's get back on topic with emotion code because it's so amazing and it's so easy. So what is a session like? So basically, emotion code is a practitioner or yourself if you go through the training or you do some, you go through it on your own. Yes or no questions. and we're letting the subconscious guide us through muscle testing. I use a pendulum. I find that that works best for me, and I am like really confident with my pendulum. So I tap into your subconscious with your permission and always with your permission. And I ask your subconscious yes or no questions. And we just deduce between the emotion that's trapped and then maybe the age that it got trapped. And then we clear it using the governing meridian line and a lot of love, a lot of gratitude, and a lot of intention that we know that this is clearing. And it does, it clears. It can be done in person. It can be done virtually. It can also be done where you, to a lot of practitioners out there, sometimes they have offerings like I do where you can just put in a request on a topic, physical, non physical idea, um, something you're working on, a target. Maybe you just wanted to whole like clear up your heart wall or check in with some things to see if you have any trapped emotions that might be affecting areas of your life, physically or not. And I'll tap into your subconscious and I'll kind of do the process without you having to be present. And then I send you a report. For me personally, I know a couple like practitioners out there that are more introverted and they love that. Could they just pump them out when they have the time and give their clients the same results and awareness. And but the client might be like super, super busy. So it's kind of fits everyone's schedule. I only do these on the last Friday currently and when I'm traveling of the month. And they're great. They're a way for people just to kind of be like, I can't always get with you online, but I want you to help me with this area of my life. And I do so. I love it. So, awareness is, I said this, people get the awareness. I love everything that gives people more awareness. I love it. When we gain more awareness about ourselves, about the world, about everything, we have that much more knowledge, that much more details, that much more knowing. So clients that I've been working with often comment on how crazy accurate like the age is or the emotion. Like it blows some people's minds where I don't even they don't give me the details at all. They just give me a topic. Like I had a client recently where we worked with emotions that might be creating some sticky energy or some just like blockages in this big transition she's going through with like work and her job and like physically moving her business. And we were asking yes or no questions to the subconscious and she was just like, this is crazy accurate. Every age you give me and every emotion that I thought I dealt with, but I obviously didn't. And I'm like, yeah. And she didn't tell me a single detail about any of them, but it resonated so much. And it gave her awareness to be like, okay, okay, awesome. Like, I'm ready to let that go. Like, yes, thank you. One of the other amazing aspects is that like I said, we don't have to go into the details. We don't have to go into the drama and the trauma of the scenario, like I said earlier, because sometimes it's not the greatest thing to talk about, or we're not ready to talk about it. But what it does is remove that electrical charge that emotion or that event or scenario or time in their life was having a hold on them currently. That electrical charge starts to shift and change, which starts to shift and change their relationship and them being with that. They're no longer at the effect of that, but it can be part of their life, be a part of their past, but it's not affecting them anymore. And it gives them more allowance and freedom for how moving forward their life plays out and how they also can handle life a bit more, can be with life a little bit more because they're less, maybe reactionary in a way. So before we like tune out for the episode, I want to share some personal stories. I've had years with this practice. I first started when I was first starting my self development and spiritual journey. I was introduced to emotion code healing, and we worked on a lot of things, a lot of some physical things, but most of it was like more emotional, more like how I was being in life. One of those was, mending the daddy issues. I grew up in a divorced home. I saw a lot of things as a kid that I probably shouldn't have had. I was very much like team mom, not team dad. And I held a lot of anger. I held a lot of resentment. I held a lot of bitterness and just like worthlessness. in my world. And through doing this work, through releasing emotions, I was able to process. And instead of being reactionary to them or buying the story and selling it to myself that I had daddy issues and that I'm tainted because of this and this is why I'm XYZ, I was able to shift into, okay, cool. I was 5. I experienced things. I didn't have the tools. I didn't have I had the awareness, but I didn't have the understanding of that awareness. And now I can let that go. Now I can release that from my world and move forward and not harbor this anger and resentment that I felt towards my dad and have it affect my life where it really didn't benefit me to hold that. And I could do it in a way where I didn't have to address anybody. And it was such for my benefit and freedom from all of that. And I am so grateful. Another one of the things I worked on early on was the jealousy I had towards women. And this is something that I love having conversations around this, like dropping the competition, between women, actually for men. But I used to be extremely jealous of women, and I don't know where it came from. I could probably kind of see it from like the dad stuff back then, the divorce, the whatnot. But I was jealous every time someone got something. I was like, why the fuck not me? Like, really, honestly, universe, why? And I released so many emotions around that throughout my entire life where I was like, oh, okay, cool. And since that session, I can clearly remember sitting in my desk and working through these emotions and working them out of the body in a simple, simple way that didn't require me to chant or to jump around or to, shake my body convulsively. It just, it was intention. It was acknowledging what it was, when the age was, if needed, and maybe between a family member or a friend. And that was it. I ran my meridian line, and there you go. I remember sitting there and being like, I just thought of all my girlfriends at the time, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have so much more space to see them. I have so much more allowance. I have so much more gratitude. I have so much more honor and love for my friends. It was like night and day. Another personal story is I healed my period cramps for all my ladies out there that have the, bad period times with those cramps that like make you want to hurl and curl up in a ball. I sat down. It took me 3 sessions to get all of these emotions out of my body, about out of my uterus, and I didn't have a period cramp for 4 months. And then life was happening and I kept clearing and kept clearing and kept clearing. And my periods were so freaking easy. It was amazing. And I recently, just with life, moving around and switching countries and doing the life that I've been doing for the past couple years and being in this flight mode, I have been experiencing cramps for the past couple months. And then I was like, I got to do some emotion code healing on this. So I did it. I sat down with myself and I've had beautiful periods. And I don't think many women refer to their periods as beautiful, but it was so easy. I am so happy that I have this tool and that I can offer this tool to people to help them with things such as that. So, emotion code healing, one of the many tools out there for changing your life dynamically. There's no shortage of testimonials with this work from people with back pain for years and years and years and years and years. And all of a sudden, in one emotion code session, they cleared a specific emotion from a specific time in their life and it disappears. People who, were struggling to find love, people with chronic issues. They're not chronic anymore. People with autoimmune diseases, not there anymore. There's no shortage. So you can go to Discover Healing if you want to learn more about the experiences or what the process is. If you're ever curious to experience what it could do for you and you would love a session, please check out my website under offers or coaching, whichever one. I'll also look it up in the show notes. Book yourself a session. And also find a practitioner out there in the world. You can go to discoverhealing.com and also search practitioners, or you can just Google emotion code healing online and see who's around you and who you connect with. But it's one of my tools I use in my practice, and I absolutely love it for its ease and quickness. And don't have to go into the details, just have to be willing to clear it and willing to let what happens happen. I also want to let you know that I have some resources that I've created for you guys. So if you go into the description, I've linked them below. These resources are designed to help bring more awareness into your life, help clear some stuff, help create more space, help release more judgment from our world. Because at the end of the day, it's not me that's doing the work for you. It's you. It's you stepping up, you creating it, you healing it, you changing the frequency that you be. And I'm just a reflection and a part of that journey and a facilitator of that for you. So I hope these resources are helpful. They're linked down below. And if you want a one on one, you know where to find me. So until my next episode, thank you so much for being here, guys. I will talk to you soon. Remember, stay in the magic and have a fantastic day. Bye.